Welcome to our P.D training video on device ordering within P.D. So you can use any of the data sets that we've provided from Dot Decimal. These should all have parts. If you've completed any of the other tutorials, you should have devices available in any of those parts as well. So I'm going to open my ECT Knows data set. And now to order parts in P.D, it's very simple. Once we have our plan loaded, we simply go to the order wizard, and any parts that we have available for order will show up here in the order wizard. In this case, I have a bolus and I have an electron aperture. All right, it'll tell me the type of the part, it'll tell me the material of the part, and it'll tell me the quantity I want to order. Okay, typically we're always going to order one of these, so you'll see that you actually can't change the quantity of these. This is simply letting you know how many will be ordered. If you are ordering proton parts, you'll notice that this quantity may not be one. Sometimes proton apertures are split into multiple pieces in order to facilitate manufacturing, so you'll see a quantity more than one when those parts are split into multiple slabs. Okay, so in this case, I want to go ahead and order both my parts. I want to order the electron aperture and the bolus that goes with it. So I'm going to leave both of my parts checked. When we order the parts, we'll notice this Comp ID field. This Comp ID field is typically engraved on all of our parts. So if you have a particular Comp ID that you would like to change, for electron plans, we typically only treat with one beam, so maybe I don't need the word beam in here. If I want to change the name of this, I just simply click on that Comp ID field and I can change what will be engraved on my part. Okay? We typically see for an electron bolus, we have the letters EB, and then we have the patient initials, knows ECT. Okay? And then for an electron aperture, we see the initials aperture along with NE again for the patient. So we know what type of part this is, we know what beam it goes on, and we know what patient it's associated with. If you would like to include anything else in here, you can just enter that new data in here. Maybe this is for a boost field. So I want to indicate that this isn't the original parts, this is for a later boost treatment that I'm using for this patient. So we can include that as well. There's a 40-character limit in how long this engraving string can be for your Comp ID. All right, once you set those parameters, double check the materials are correct. You need to choose a treatment site. So for this particular plan, I'm looking at a nose. So I'm going to select a nose treatment site, and then you need to agree to the terms and conditions and the processing agreement of Dot Decimal. So you can click on these links. You can review this terms and conditions notice. Okay, and same for the processing agreement. Click on that link, review the processing agreement, make sure you understand the arrangement or the agreement you are signing up to by ordering parts through our services. Once you agree to that, the next button will be enabled for you to go ahead and continue with your order. All right. Once we're on here, we need to enter the shipping information. So if you have a site ID, if you have multiple site IDs, very few customers do have multiple site IDs, but you can change that to select the physical site where these parts will be going. You can also save addresses in P.D, so you don't need to retype this information every time. If you need to save an address, you can access that from the P.D planning menu. We'll go ahead and do that very quickly here, just so I don't have to type everything twice. So go to the P.D planning menu, go to settings, and you'll find under the ordering section, you'll find you can create addresses. So here we have billing and shipping address information. I want to add a new address. I'm going to say this is my main address here for Decimal. Which site ID is it associated with? And then what are the actual addresses? So I'm going to enter my address information, and that will be saved once I click OK. So I've got my address information. I'll go back to Order Wizard, reselect that this is a nose treatment. I agree to the terms and services. Click Next. And now you'll see that that saved address is available for me to be selected. Since it's the only one, it'll automatically be filled in for me. And now I can go ahead and select my delivery time. Okay. Notice 72-hour is our standard shipping rate, and that's our standard price rate. If you select 48 or Rush 24, additional charges may apply for those selections. So once all that information is entered and verified, click Next. Again, select an address or enter your address information for the billing information. If you need to include POs in your billing information, feel free to enter a PO number in this field as well. Go next, and now we need to decide how do we want to order these parts. Well, for most orders, the typical method will be using SFTP. This will actually create the files needed for ordering and upload them directly to .Decimal's website and place your order with zero interaction outside of P.D. So once you click this order button, you will have ordered your parts directly through our system if you selected the SFTP method. Okay, so keep that in mind. When you click order, you are ordering the parts from us. So if you're just testing, if you are completing these walkthroughs and learning this information, you do not want to actually order these parts via FTP. They will be sent to manufacturing. Okay, so if you accidentally do that, please give us a call right away and let us know that you need to cancel that order. Okay. The other option is to manually upload the files to .Decimal Direct. So this is sort of the legacy method in here. This will only be necessary for cases or times when you have a problem with your internet connection or if for some reason you're unable to connect directly to our system via SFTP. So in this case, we would export the files to a local storage drive, typically on our computer that we're sitting at. Once we do that, then we can actually go to the .Decimal Direct website and upload those files. So if you select this second option, there's an extra step. You actually have to log on to the .Decimal Direct website and upload your parts to complete your order. Okay? For today, we'll use the SFTP option. Remember, if you're at home completing this walkthrough on your own, this will order your parts, so you do not want to actually do this. I just want to go through and show this process as what it looks like. So we click order. We'll notice the files were created for us. Now it's telling us that it's uploading those files to Direct. It was able to upload those files, and now it's going to wait for .Decimal Direct to process our files and make sure that there were no problems with our upload. All right, so if it goes through correctly, you'll get a order confirmation summary page on the next screen. If there were any issues, if you were unable to connect to the server or there were any problems with your ordering, you'll see that some warning messages will pop up indicating that there was an error in the process. If you get an error in the process, very often the files will upload to .Decimal Direct successfully. If you lost internet connection briefly or there was a problem with that, your files will typically be on Direct in the Queue Manager, and you can log into .Decimal Direct and finish your order there and check the status there as well. So in this case, we see that we got an error message, so we're showing you this. So if something unexpected happens, it'll tell you that there was a problem. In this case, it's telling me that, well, my parts weren't found in the holding queue. So I was told they were uploaded to the holding queue, but for some reason, maybe I lost temporary internet connection, but I was unable to locate those parts to complete the order. And it tells you, please go to the .Decimal Direct website to complete your order. And there's a link for you here to go ahead and click and open the Direct website and finish your order if you had any problems here. If no problems were encountered, the next button will enable and you'll go to a summary page that simply says, your order is complete, thank you. And you can select what your next step is. All right, so if we cancel, if we order via our other method, so if we order via manual upload, I'm just going to put the files directly on my desktop. And I'm going to say order. Remember, this doesn't actually create our order. This just makes the files. That's it. It's done. It was successful. So once it's successful, we click next. We see that it says our order process is complete. That is complete within P.D. It's telling you where your devices have been saved and what your next step is. You need to log into .Decimal Direct and upload the files for your devices to actually finish placing your order. Okay? So when we finish the wizard, we can have .Decimal Direct open by default. We can show any reports for our ordered parts. We can close the plan, or we can open the actual folder. So if I want to open the folder and I want to open .Decimal Direct, well, I don't want to actually order these parts for this video tutorial, so I'm not going to open Direct. I'm just going to open the export folder location, and we'll see, okay, here's my parts. Here's my 2 DEC files that I will need to upload to .decimal Direct in order to finish placing my order. Okay? And that's all there is to ordering parts in P.D.